All right. Is it working? Can y'all hear me? You can hear me with the headphones on? Okay. Because last night I'm like, did my headphones die on me? Are we out of here? Do I need to buy new headphones? I was gonna be sad. These have been around for a long time. They was around before we started Women in Linux, I believe. They've been they've been around for a long time. But good. You can hear me. We back. That's right. We're back for another episode of Tech Stocks and Jobs. If you missed Foolish Finance Friday last night, you can go catch it. If you missed Wednesday's meetup, you got to sign up to Women in Linux on Meetup. So it's meetup.com/Women in Linux or /Women in Linux. And there you'll find everything that we do, that we put together, bring on, so forth, so on. Now, a lot of things people ask us, a lot of times people ask us why you don't ever announce what you're going to talk about or where you're going to, or who's going to come to the meetup. There's a reason for that. You should just come. You just come. You should just come. You should just come. Right? You never know who's going to show up. You never know what we're going to talk about. You never know if we're going to talk about money or we're going to show offer letters, mock interviews. Somebody's hiring on the spot. People to pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. All right. The meetup is every Wednesday from 8 to 10 East Coast time. Go to meetup.com/Women in Linux. We've been putting out shorts. I say this, D has been putting out shorts. She's been putting out shorts. We also have been working on our social media stuff. When you work, when you work, it's like that. Nah, everything we started virtually, um, and that's where we've been at. The problem with doing meetups in person is everybody that is in our group is not here in Florida. They're in Argentina, they may be in South Africa, they may be in London, they may be in California, they may be in Toronto. So we can't have a meetup in person. We could, but then here's one thing we learned about having in-person meetups. People, you'll have a meetup, you'll go buy all the snacks and fruits and stuff like that, and you know what? Nobody don't even show up. And if they do show up, it's one or two people. And then people are like, well, why don't you stream it from the event, from the location where you at? Why not just do it online? See? HE girl, you from Belgium? Are you in the States or are you in Belgium right now? That's what I'm saying. Like, man, you know, stuff like that. We could make them buy tickets, but then now it gets into, if we buy tickets, now we gotta now we really gotta perform. Is it who gonna be there? Is it gonna be worth my time? If I spend this $50, then I gotta get hotel and then I gotta get this. So it's just easier for us to do it online. And if I come in town, I'll just announce I'm coming in town and we can meet up with people. But I do that in Slack, right? I do something like that in Slack. It'd be a whole production, and then you know me. I'm if anybody know me, I don't like doing stuff small. I like doing stuff big. I want to have the cars come out. I want to have people from all different walks of life, from entrepreneurs to this to that. I want to have a DJ. I want to have the radio station streaming. It's a production. It's a whole production. So then we turn around and we do all of that, and then two people show up. I'm gonna be mad. I'm be like, shut it all down, D. We ain't doing nothing else. Shut it all down. Shut all TikTok, as my mom say, TikTok, bit bop, or whatever that stuff is. Shut it all down. Set the bit bop, the TikTok, the tic tac, shut it down. Shut it all down. All right. So it has to be something that everybody is like, yeah, we all in on it. Because if you like me, I buy something and don't go to it. I just take the L. Like I take that L, right? NC worker, what's up? What's going on? Leith, man, Leith, I thought about you last night or this morning. I think it was this morning. I said, "Where's Leith? Where is Leith? I ain't seen Leith. I ain't seen Leith. I hope Leith all right. I hope Leith all right." That's what I said. I said, "Well, I wonder where Leith at." I'm gonna have to. I said I was gonna hit you up, Leith. Glad to see you making it, man. Glad to see you are around kicking it. Jonathan R. What is up? Jamia, Ricky Stewart. What's up? Ricky! Ricky! What's going on, Ricky? How you doing? See who else is in here. Oh, that's it. Oh, hey, let's not forget about D. And for those that are not even commenting, but you're watching, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the like button. And if you ain't hit the like button on this video, go back, hit the like button on the other videos. Just go like them. Just go through and just hit like. Like. Just all you gotta do. Just hit like. Right? Just hit like. Right? So what we're gonna talk about today a lot. But first, I like to keep going with my jokes. So me and my all infinite wisdom scrolling on Obama's internet this morning, and I ran across the post on Instagram that asked about did anybody ever tell young girls about dating older men that they would get worms? And so that kind of spiraled into a whole nother conversation about worms, right? And so people will be like, this because my grandmama told me this. Like, don't you go out there and date no old man. Them old men got worms. Like, like so growing up, I'm like, how old are you? If I'm 25, if I'm 20 and a guy hit me up and he 40, I'd be like, oh, he got worms. He got worms. There's no way in the world. There's no way in the world. Like, he got worms. So I started my infinite search about worms, right? And it got me to calling my mom and asking my mom about worms. Now, she did come out and say Tamara Hall came out, and I looked it up on January the 5th. She came out, and Tamara Hall said she had been diagnosed with worms because she had been eating raw sushi and so forth and so on. But then it spawned off into like, okay, you know me, I already know there are different types of worms. I know that you can get ringworms. I know you can get pinworms and the different worms, but each worm does something different. So here I am to educate you about worms. I know you didn't come here for that. You came here for tech lots of jobs, but this could affect your job. Let's put it like that. Let's put it like that. But let me pull up about my worms because I was just like, I don't want that, right? So they got the one right here where going outside. Remember growing up, your grandmama would say, "Don't be going outside with your shoes off. Put some shoes on your feet." That's because you could get worms. And that was one of the big things, right? You just saw a show, and the first thing, yeah. So how do you get worms? But it's not necessarily about how do you get worms. It is the type of worms, right? Pinworms. D won't bring it up. It's on the screen. D. Yeah, right here. So pinworms, also known as thread worms. Let me pull this up. Are a common type of worm in the U.S. and around the world. They usually aren't longer and so forth. And then I asked my mom, and she said when she was talking to her doctor, because she's like, growing up as a child, she used to give me worm treatments because she was like, when you get worms, everybody in the house has to be treated for it. But she's like, I just did it as a natural order. But then my grandmama used to give us cod liver oil. Take this cod liver oil. But again, that's what they made you do, right? Hookworms, yeah. So listen, so there's like they usually aren't longer than a half an inch. You get them when you swallow their eggs. The eggs hatch in your intestines. Pinworms. and it affect most kids. That's what they always talk about with kids, with babies. Babies get the pinworms, like itching, pain, and nausea. Now, here's the other one, the roundworms. And the roundworms cause fatigue, weight loss, vomiting, belly pain, wheezing, and coughing. And I'm like, well, shit, was it C19 or was them worms? Shit. I like coughing, wheezing, belly pain, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue, and loss. And they said roundworms are common in warm places where there's poor sanitation. When a person swallows roundworm eggs, the worms hatch in the intestines. The young worms then go to the lungs. After a week, the worms go to the throat and often get swallowed again. Roundworms spread through soil mixed and infected poop or by eating raw infected meat, right? Hookworms. Hookworms are common in the tropics. When the poop of an infected person is mixed in the soil, the eggs will hatch. At a certain state, young hookworms can grow. It can go through a person's skin. This can happen if people go barefoot in places where soil is contaminated. An itchy rash is usually the first sign of a hookworm. Belly pain, diarrhea, weight loss, loss of appetite, fatigue, and anemia. All right. And so I don't know what strong lodiosis is, my spodiosis. They angel, I don't know what that one is, but it's another type of roundworm. And it says these young worms in soil go through the skin. Once in the body, the worms find their way to small intestines and lay eggs. So that's why I was looking at, look, raw meat. Here we go. Keep going. This all on web indeed. So I was, and whipworms was another one too. Whipworms was another too. So I was looking at this because I was just like, the tapeworm. That's the one. That's the big one, right? You can get tapeworms from food or water that's contaminated with worms or eggs. If you swallow a tapeworm, they will grow in your intestines. They can live in a person for 30 years. They can live in a person for 30 years. If you swallow the eggs, they can go through your intestines into other parts of your body and form cysts. Symptoms depend on where they are and include belly, nausea, weakness, loss of appetite, belly pain, diarrhea, feeling dizzy, craving salt, weight loss, headaches, and seizures. Right? So I was looking at all of this and I was like, I'm going to go get me some cod liver oil today. You ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me. Mm-mm. So but there is a test. So let me see. Google, you supposed, oh, there we go. Okay. So you do have a worm test out there. It's a test for parasites. That's what it is. It's a parasite. And this is what I was saying to my mom. I remember growing up and the babysitters would take a piece of tape and put it on the belly button of a child, of a baby. Especially if the baby slept on their knees and then peeled it back just to see. And it says here how a worm's diagnosed. Thread worms can be diagnosed by the sticky tape test available by you. The test I don't know what happened. It's a glitch in the matrix. Give me some power too. I don't know why we went out. That's why I upgraded the internet. I'm going 1 gig up and 1 gig down. Business line. I don't know what happened. So everybody can hear me out there. We good to go? Making sure. All right. So yeah. So again, the thread test, like the tape test, you put it on there. You could look at and see if the actual baby had worms. The test detects thread worm eggs are deposited around the anus at night. And this is another one. I was telling D about this one. Another one. Yeah, the worm got me. I was telling D about this one earlier. That the worm comes out of the anus. They come up to the anus, and then they itch, and you go back there and scratch, and then they get on your fingernails, and then you spread it to other parts, like you scratch your arm or something, you rub your arm or something like that, and now you got it all. You're spreading the eggs. I'm like, this is disgusting. Now it make you not even want to touch nobody. Like, don't touch me, you got worms. Don't touch me, you got worms. Like, uh-uh. It says here, it says, oh my, I lost my thing. Oh, hold on. Let me get my screen share back. I'll get my screen share back. Hey, I'm just here for the education part of it, right? First sign of worms: abdominal pain, tenderness, unexplained weight loss, fatigue, gas and bloating, diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting, and abdominal pain. That could be anything. That describe everything to me, right? So go get yourselves a test, or get just take something to get the worms out. Just take it anyway. Just act like you got it, and just. And there's the other thing too is a raw diet. They were saying like a raw diet could also cause that too. No, you didn't, D. What is this, D? D, nasty. D is so nasty. I ain't gonna even play the sound on it. She gonna see me this. Look, it's a bear. It's a bear with a tapeworm. D, you nasty. Who goes and look that up? Who looks that up? Nobody but you. Nobody but you. So be careful out there, people. People can have worms. You can have worms. You be like, listen, listen. So me and my wild imagination, I'm like, what if a guy likes his steak medium rare, and then y'all on a date, and then he go to kiss you? Is he gonna give me a worm? Is the worm? Is the worm? Does he? How often? Yeah, you know, I get to thinking. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Uh-uh. 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 He got the worms. You ain't got to worry about me. Whew. All right. Then in my next run, you know, I'm always, I'm always looking at stuff. And I report on this. So Kendra G, we should do a segment, Tam social media run. Anyway, Kendra G had a guy on from Toronto, from Canada, and he's 6'1". He has no kids. He wants an educated woman, a woman that's with her master's degree, making from 70,000 to 150,000. And everybody is on there. So are worms, STDs, and worms. You've been able to get worms from people. People can spread worms from person to person. You can spread worms from person to person. That's why that goes back to why I was talking to my mom about it. She's like, that's why when one person in the house has worms, the whole house got to get treated for worms. Everybody got to take the pills and the cod liver oil because you can pass it, just passing it back and forth. You just be like, you the worm family. Just here's a worm for you and a worm for you. uh-uh. You can recover. Anyway, so Kendra G, 6'1", no kids, wants an educated woman, master's degree or PhD, makes 70 to 150K. All right, cool. I agree with the brother on having a woman that's educated, same way with a man that should be educated. And of course, in Tameika's fashion, I had to comment on this, right? But this is why I posted right here, right? While more educated women have the highest chances for long term marriage, college educated men also stand out. Roughly two-thirds, 65% of men with bachelor's degree could expect that if they married, their first marriage would last 20 years, compared to 50% of men with high school diplomas. Hey, I'm with it. Next one up. Men with bachelor's degrees, you already know this, earn approximately 900,000 more in median lifetime earnings than high school graduates, and women with bachelor's degrees earn 630. That's from the Social Security Office and Social Security Administration, and men with graduate degrees earn 1.5 million more in median lifetime earnings than high school graduates. We already seen this, right? And it also states that people who have degrees, women and men who have degrees, the social circles, it helps in the social circle setting and what that looks like, right? So I'm just giving you the facts here. I'll give you the facts. Will he help her pay her loans? I mean, at that point, I guess maybe. But my thought process is the fact that together they have enough income where if he at 150 or 250 and she at 150, you could almost have a $500,000 household. Why wouldn't I want that? Why wouldn't I want that? Let me get my show notes for today. Let me get my show notes for today. All right, here we go. Show notes for today. Okay, so let's start here because I've been saying this for a long time. But I really want to kind of break this down a little bit more. This comes from the Indian Times. So Google, Microsoft, IBM, and 13 other technology companies are headed by Indian origin executives, right? 16 of the big tech companies led by Indian or origin executives. Now we already saw that was it IBM? It wasn't IBM, it was somebody else. Oh, it was somebody like Deloitte or Accenture. I think it was Deloitte. Um yeah, the executive over at Deloitte right here is aiming to hire over 50,000 more people. There's the exec. Deloitte is looking to hire 50,000 more, 40 to 50,000 more people. So when I say this, when we're competing, we're not competing with just us. We could competing globally. We're competing globally, right? We're competing globally, right? So Alphabet, Microsoft, Microchip, Palo Alto. We're competing nationally and internationally, but more internationally than nationally. Adobe, IBM, Venmo, Micron, Flex, Arista Networks, Cadence Design, Western Digital, VMware, NetApp, Workday, GoDaddy, and you've heard of every last one of those companies. You've heard of every last one of those companies. Now the question is, and this is what I want to go do a study on, what are their backgrounds? What are their backgrounds? Right? We got 16, we just named off 16 big tech companies led by Indians, right? Google, Microsoft, IBM, Microchip, Cadence, Venmo, and the list goes on. What was their path? What is what is their path? Well, how did they get there? Right? You here's the one thing that I know for a fact that people can't argue about. Stats and facts. You can't argue about stats and facts. How did they get there? What's their background? Where did they come from? Right? Now, how much do you think in total those 16 CEOs are worth? What's their net worth in total? In total, right? In total. We already know, excuse me, we already know that Apple CEO Tim Cook got a reduction in his take home pay by 40%, but he's still taking home 49 million. If you're not an earner, I went over Apple's 10K last week. I'm going to do more 10Ks. I'm going to do more 10Ks so you could get a chance to read them and understand them. We're going to start going back over perspectives, right? I'm going to start incorporating that, right? So you can understand the value of the company that you're investing in, the why, right? We're looking for long-term plays. What are the long-term plays if we look at these companies? What's the long-term play for Google? What's the long-term play for IBM? Speaking of IBM, let me see if I can find this article, because this article, see, IBM, um it was an article that came out. It was actually a video. Let me go by the past week. All right, so here everybody is talking about, does IBM has IBM set the tone for how your new 401ks are going to look? Are people going to start copying IBM? Did they set the tone? Because people are starting to model after IBM, right? People are starting to model after IBM. Could company 401ks go the way of IBM? This has been a big talk this week. Now, what is special about IBM's 401k? IBM said, we're not doing matches anymore. What we're going to do is put you in a fund. We're going to contribute to that, and we're going to guarantee you 6%. Now, is 6% the best? No. Is it better than a CD? Yes. But is it the best? No. Now, there's been analysis done on, does the match is the match better over time, or is the 6% guaranteed better over time. And who did they choose to do the analysis? Who did the analysis, right? Who did the analysis? Now, their 401k is a hybrid. So let's go look at their 401k and we're going to talk about this. All right. IBM to end the 401k match, and they're offering a hybrid plan. Other firms can't pull off this type of change. Now, for those that have been coming here and listening, I'm going to recommend, because this it really helps the conversation and the views. Um, go to the live, go to tech stocks and jobs, hit the playlist here. Do right here, view playlist. This episode right here, episode 124. Get up to 1,000 views. Pump this out. Listen, this one I talk about how you can become a W-2 multimillionaire. Right? What comments got left here? Love your content. It's great to see a perspective. How do we get access to Tam After Dark? This episode is gold. Thank you both. I even summarized it here so y'all can go through. Dropped it in there for your summary of it. But literally go through this. I think this is going to help you all in your job search. It's going to help you be strategic. But it also talks about 401ks. Also talk about 401ks. Why am I stressing this? Because in here, I talk about, and I even go through a list of companies that donate to your 401k without you doing anything. Without you doing anything. There are companies in this video that's on that list that I had that actually donate 10%, that donate 5%, that of your base salary. Of your base salary. So you go to sleep, and on the 19th of every month, a company, based on whatever they have an agreement with, will put in $4,000 every month into your 401k. You don't do nothing. You don't budge. You don't say I'm gonna do. They gonna do it. Peter Investor, we appreciate you. Your $5 super sticker. I'm gonna get to your question in a minute. You don't do nothing. They put in. Right? They put in. So is that important to you? For some people, it's not important that the company put in. They want the money because they can go invest and do it themselves. For some people. For some people, they're like, okay, well, I'd rather have them put the money in where I play catch up on over here doing something else. Right? So put a one in the chat if you're keeping up with what I'm talking about. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you understand when I say this. Right? Because this, I think, is, I just know for a fact it changes your life. I don't know no other way to say it. Right? So look, we're gonna talk about IBM and their 401k and what it looks like. All right, so let's go to the compound interest calculator. Let's say the first month a company that you're with puts is going to put in $4,000 every month, and you stay. That's your first initial investment, and they put in 4,000 every year. I mean every month, right? So 4,000, 4,000. And let's say you stay with the company 15 years, and let's say you get an average rate of return of 8 and 2 up and 2 down, and we're gonna say you are a person who's 25 years old. So 15 years at 40, this without your contribution. This is without your contribution. Without your contribution. All right? You're 25. I say 25, right? Make sure, yeah. Yeah. 25 and you hit 40. Without your contribution in 15 years, without your contribution, with an 8% return, right? 4,000. They contributing 4,000 every month. It's based on your base pay. I'm doing an 8% return on this, right? That's what it could be. And on the lower end, it could be at 6%, it could be 1.1. At the middle is 1.3, and at on the higher end is 1.5, right? Monthly contribution of 4,000 a month, right? You started with 4,000, right? Everybody with me on these numbers because I don't want you to miss out on these numbers. All right. So IBM is doing a guaranteed 6% rate of return. So they're saying 6% a rate of return. Now let's go find out how they break that down, right? Because this is going to matter for you all, so you can understand how. And this is a big debate. This is a really big debate because a lot of people are like, no, you're a millionaire, but that's in your 401k, or you're a multimillionaire in your 401k, or no, you're a millionaire in your thrift savings plan. Because a lot of people are looking at it like, well, that once you tax that money or do a rollover or a Roth conversion, then it's a problem. People are looking like it's a problem. You said 4K a month. Is this by group? When you say by group, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Evelyn. I mean, each individual, based on your job, that's what they putting in. Based on what your base pay is, that's what they putting in. All right. So now let's go back over here to what IBM is doing. All right. So IBM is switching from a 401k match to a traditional defined benefit contribution. Companies considering creating a similar plan would need to have comparable structure to what IBM has built over the years. I mean, one person is able to invest 4K a month. It don't matter if you're able to invest it or not, Evelyn. The company is going to do it for you automatically. All you do is get up and go to work. What I didn't add to this is, and this is I talked about this before. Um, let's do this. What I didn't talk about was between the employee and the employer is $69,000 that can be contributed to your 401k. So the employer puts their money in, right? So we say 4,000 times 4. I mean 4,000 times 12 is 48,000. So 69,000, get that. 69,000 minus 48,000 is means that you could only put in 21,000, even though you can put in 23,000, 21,000 can go in, right? Evelyn, this is the beauty of it. You don't have to contribute. They're going to already contribute for you. It's not coming out your money. That's this is the beauty of it. This money ain't coming out your pocket. You work for them, they just going to put it in there. So now the question you have to ask yourself, that 23,000, are you going to put that into your 401k, or you going to put that into your brokerage account? Now here's the thing. The brokerage account doesn't reduce your taxable income. So let's say you at 250,000 and you don't put nothing into your 401k, and you say I'm going to put it in my brokerage account. In your brokerage account, what you invest in has to sit there for a year. You got to leave it in there for a year. So now the question is, how do I bring down my taxes? Remember, you still W-2. So how do I bring down my taxable income? You want to contribute to your 401k or an IRA. And you may make too much money for a Roth IRA, so you have to do a traditional IRA. So you got to figure out who you trying to beat. What market are you trying to beat, right? When I say market, you're trying to beat, meaning like, do you want the IRS to come after you because you didn't take out enough in taxes and you didn't bring out your taxable income? Or do you want to be in a brokerage account and play the stock market and hope that you get a break, but you still gonna have to pay taxes on that, because if you didn't leave it in there for a year, you're gonna have to pay taxes on if you sold that particular stock. So now you got to play the lost harvesting game, right? Or do you do this? Do you say, I'm going to contribute to my 401k, bring that down? I'll contribute to my brokerage account and only invest in aristocrats and kings, excuse me, and let it ride. Find an ETF or whatever and let that ride. But it has to be in there over a year. So you got to play that balance game on what you're going to do, right? Even though the brokerage account is liquid, but if you sell the stock before you had it for a year, then you got to possibly play capital gains on that, unless you lost in that stock. So you got to figure out which one you want to pay pay the capital gains on, right? So that's the game on the W-2 side. So with this being said, you still have, between the employer and employee, you still got $69,000. I mean, $69,000 that you both invest. You still have $21,000 to invest into that. So let's divide that by 12, and that come out to $1,750 a month. So now we're gonna go in here and say $5,500 a month is going into this. I'm starting out with my 4. I'm coming in at 15. We'll change this back to 8. I'll do this for over a 15-year period here. Yep. And then let's calculate that. So now that's at 1.8 million in 15 years. You're 25. You're 25. You're 25. And in 15 years with that particular job, at 40, you can have 1.5 million. At 40. If you're 30 and 15 years, that's 45. If you're 40 and in 15 years, that's 55. If you're 50 in 15 years, that's 65. And that's just in your 401k. I haven't even talked about you making investments into your brokerage account, into what have you, however you're gonna slice that up. That's just on in one account. I don't know. Can y'all make it off of 2 million at 65? Depending on where you living at. We're gonna talk about that today too. We're gonna talk about that today too. But is 1.8 million in 15 years okay with people? Let me know. Maybe I'm talking too small. Let me know. Maybe I need to increase the numbers, because maybe I'm talking too small. I need to be talking 4-5 million. I could do that. And I know it's a little money, D. It's a little money. It ain't a lot. It's a little, right? So that's in 15 years. What if you stayed? I like to play with numbers. What if you stayed there 20 years? It'll be at 3 million in 20 years, right? Now, the other thing about this, Evelyn, I like to do the reverse of this because I think when people have a goal, you got to look at it from another way. So let's say you want 5 million for for your retirement. Let's say your initial start is, I don't know, 10,000. We're going to say your initial start is 10,000. You want, I don't know, let's do the 15 years to grow it. Let's do a rate of return of 8, compounded frequency annually, and let's calculate that. It says you will have to contribute 15,000 a month. 15,000 a month if you want 5 million in 15 years. Stretch that out. Let's go 20 years. 9,000 a month, right? Let's back up. Let's go with our 2 million. Let's go with that 10. Let's keep it at 15 years. And let's calculate 6,000 a month. Now, going back, I told you the employer was already going to contribute to your goal without you doing anything. You sign on the dotted line. You say, "Yes, I accept this offer. We're with Charles Schwab or Fidelity. I go create my account. I work there the first month. I go check it on the 5th, and my money there. I didn't do no allotment. I didn't say I want 20% of my income to go to. I ain't do none of that. Just you just roll over and you just like it's there. Is that fair? Is that too much? Does that make sense? Right? So basically what I'm saying is every time you get up to go to work, every month, check your statements. Make sure your money there. Make sure your money there. Contribute to the cause, right? All right. So let's go back and look at how BM has their structure done. Under the new plan, employees would get a guaranteed rate of return, but one that could be much lower than what they could get investing the money more aggressively. So they're being very conservative. It's like, hey, we just gonna put this 6% in and that's it. All right, let's go. IBM, which decades ago helped lift the shift. That's a little small. Let me break it up a little bigger. All right, there we go. Benefit plans to define contributions recently told U.S. employees it would be scrapping the 401k match in favor of funding what is called a retirement benefit account. It says, go down here, starting next year, they would no longer provide a 5% match and a 1% automatic contribution into the 401k. So they were doing 1% of your base. So let's go and look at that before. So if you was making $150,000 at IBM, multiply that by 0.01, they were putting in $1,500 automatically. No matter what you do, they were gonna put in $1,500 every month. Every month they're gonna put in their $1,500. Then you contribute, and they would do a 5% match. You contribute, they do their 5% match. All right, let's go back. It said effective January 1st, the company will put 5% into an RBA. I'm talking about an IBA. They're talking about an RBA, right? Essentially, a pension plan that would pay 6% interest through 2026. After that, the RBA will earn a rate equivalent to the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield with a 3% minimum per year through 2023. It sounds like they went into an annuity to me, but that's just me, right? IBM says, and I'll talk about those annuities in a minute. I'll talk about the annuity in a minute. IBM says the change adds a stable, predictable benefit to employees and helps diversify their retirement portfolios. Under their plan, IBM bears 100% of the risk and must be prepared to pay the benefit at the times of the employee's separation. It's unlikely to start a trend, however. That's what they said during this time. But we see now that people may be actually considering this. To make a similar move, experts say a company will have already have a traditional defined benefit pension plan in place, and it will have to be overfunded and not be affiliated with a union. Other companies may not have this structure to pull off this type of change. Big Blue, as IBM was once known, has a long history of changing its retirement plans. In 1984, it was among a wave of large companies offering a 401k. By the 90s, its pension was cut back and then closed. Right. Last year, IBM transferred $16 billion worth of pension liabilities to insurance companies like Prudential and MetLife. The company had 3.5 billion surplus in its plan, according to the annual report. Right. So let's see what change means for employees. For employees, IBM's change is a mixed bag. Even employees who are not contributing to a 401k will get a defined benefit. If you're not contributing, you still gonna get this defined benefit and an option for a lifetime annuity payment. I just why I thought this sounded like an annuity, right? This sounded like an annuity, right? But the younger employees who make significant contributions in the plan are likely to find that set returns will limit their potential upside. 6% sounds nice for 24 to 26, but after that, the yields are could be as low as 3%. No one wants that. It's the after that that's the problem. He says 6 to 7% annual return is a reasonable goal that can be reached with mixed equities and fixed income. I agree with that. I agree with that. Going down to 3%, but that sounds like how the annuity is set up, right? That's what it sounds like. All right, let me go back up here to Peter's question real quick. All right, let me scroll back up. I didn't forget you. It says between India and China, which one is a better foreign country for investments? I'm gonna have to say India because I can't contribute to China. But it may be China might be better, but I have to go with India. I can't contribute to China. I can't do it. Not because I don't want to, it's just I can't. Some places we can't travel to. Some places we can't go. Just not gonna happen. War torn countries, anybody we define as not an ally, don't go there. That's what it is. All right, so here we go. Let me see. All right, that's it on they had on this on that IBM joint. You're welcome. All right, you're welcome. Here's the thing about foreign investments. What are you investing in, right? When you're looking at the foreign investments, like what are you investing in? Are you investing in their technology, their equities, their real estate, whatever? Here's my rule of thumb when I look at places like that, right? Like here's my rule of thumb, right? I'm like, what is it like to invest into Dubai's economy? What is it like to invest into Switzerland's economy? And when you go and do your research on those places as to the why and how their income is, how everything is structured on that, how they make their money, what they're invested in, what they look into. Because I mean, let's be clear, China owns farms in the United States. They bought up half of Detroit what about 20 years ago, right? See, yeah, this right here, this from 2014. Chinese investors snap up property and bankrupt Detroit. Detroit, thousands of empty buildings, and this is from 2014, are being flogged, and Chinese investors are answering the siren call on unbeatable deals. Right, and this is from 2014 when China was buying up Detroit in 2014. Not only was China buying up Detroit back then, China and Detroit uh treaty. I don't know if y'all remember this. China and Detroit had a deal about their real estate. It was a long time ago. Nobody paid attention to it. I remember this because it was such a big deal because I was like, why is China going into Detroit and buying up all of the all of the real estate in Detroit? They were buying up condos, houses, and buildings, right? It was a big deal. And I'm never gonna forget that. Because I was looking at it and I was like, man, what why are they doing that? Why is yeah, China's newest city. We call it Detroit. They talking about no, they not buying up. Yes, they were. Detroit mayor leading effort to attract Chinese investment. Mayor Mike Dugan spoke to the city's relationship with China. Detroit is reestablishing itself to attract investment from around the world. This is back in 2014. Does multi-million dollar Chinese investment signal multi-million? Yep. Detroit Chinatown. Chinese investors betting on Detroit buy up the real estate. It was super huge. Super huge. They were buying up the real estate. They were opening up manufacturing. It was big. Remember now, you gotta remember what Detroit stands for. You remember what the Motor City stands for. So if I'm looking to do manufacturing in the United States, I'm gonna go where the manufacturing plants are already at. I don't have to rebuild. I don't have to rebuild. They're already there. And if they're already there, then I can start building my stuff in the States. Not only can I build my stuff in the States, now I can send my people from China to the States. Now I got a pipeline to send people to. Yeah, right here. This change came out 17 hours ago. Michigan matters. Growing ties between Michigan and China. It ain't no growing ties. That's already been there. Don't get played with these with stuff. They already established that 10 years ago. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all gotta have skills for 10, 20 years and look at the long game. China played the long game with Detroit, right? Chinese Consul General Zha Jian talked about growing more business and cultural connections between Asian nations and Michigan, with the automotive being a catalyst for Michigan Matters. Again, I'm not gonna go somewhere and build new manufacturing companies in the United States when I can go where we already have banks. We already have banks. We already got food. We already got markets. We already have a community there. I don't need to go anywhere and do anything else. It's already there, right? It says the they said Zhao, the 11th Council General of China, is based in Chicago, overseas 9 states, including Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, and Iowa. Why those states? Why? Because they're nothing but land. There's nothing but farm. I can manufacture. I can build. I can get stuff out in the wilderness for cheap. We can go establish our own stuff. We can make our own communities. We want to be in the city. We don't want to create the city. We want to be in the city, right? It says he's working with leaders across Michigan to support two-way economic opportunities between the state and that put the world on its wheels and his country. Again, he is working with leaders across Michigan to support two-way economic opportunities between the state that put the world on its wheels and his country that with its 1.4 billion population and growing middle class in the market for vehicles and other products. China has fished all the fish out of their waters. Look, yeah. China's enormous fishing fleet is often accused of overfishing far beyond the country's territorial waters. Research suggests that China fishing fleets have trespassed into waters of over 90 countries and depleted fish stocks. China has fished itself out of its own waters. This is from 2017. I know I read this. It's from 2017. China has fished itself out of its own waters. So Chinese fishermen are now sticking to the rods and other nations' seas. Hence why I'm like, if you don't see the play with Africa, they've been down in Jamaica. We already know that. They done took over Jamaica. Jamaica is China, little China. Hawaii, little China, little Japan. Uh, but other countries, why you think they in Africa? Why you think they there? Why you think they there? This from 2017, right? I'm gonna read part of this to you from 2017, right here. You can see it right here, published 2017. All right. The growth of China's middle class over the past 15 years or so has driven up demand for all sorts of luxury brands in the country. For example, there's been a growing high quality seafoods which come at the most inopportune time. Efforts to boost China marine economy is in recent decades, including offshore drilling and unsustainable fishing practices like trawling, has resulted in a dramatic depletion of its own fish stock. Efforts have been in response to the environmental damage since the 90s. Beijing has implemented an annual summer moratorium on fishing in the South China Sea, and the agriculture minister Han Chang-fu recently announced plans to cut back on the size of the world's largest fishing fleet to protect its stocks. But in order to sate its population rising desire for nice pieces of fish and continue exporting seafood abroad to trading nations, the Middle Kingdom fishing vessels have resorted to catching throughout the high seas in international waters and possibly through illegal practices in countries' coastal domains. In 2016, a number of Chinese fishing vessels were shot at for fishing in other nations' exclusive economic zones, areas of water off countries, coastal lines where those countries have sole rights to pursue economic activity. In 2016, Argentina patrols unit sank the Chinese fishing boat Lu Yan, unless Yu Yuan 1010, as it attempted to flee into international waters after allegedly trawling illegal off the coast of Argentina city Peru, Madaran. Recently, in light of illegal Chinese vessels draining the supply of fish, Somali fishermen have turned to piracy. This is when all the whole piracy thing had kicked off, right? Right. So what I'm telling you, the play that we're in an international play, a global fight, education, resources. When I say resources, I mean food, water. I'm also talking about living quarters. When I tell you you have to be in the game, you need to be educating yourself. I don't care if you don't read nothing but two articles a day. Read two international articles a day. Pick a different country every day and just read about a different country. You think I just read about American stuff? Nope. I'm gonna start bringing y'all more of the international stuff that I read. Read what's going on internationally, how it affects you, what is going on in Bali, what's going on in Dubai, what's going on in China, what's going on everywhere. You have to stay abreast because those are the people. Not only are you competing with them educational wise, you're competing with them job wise, right? You got to understand that your skill sets that you are searching to looking to obtain, you can go in any country and utilize those skills. What can you take yourself? And this is why I always tell you to look at companies. If you want to go international, look at companies that are international. Coca-Cola, is that international? McDonald's, is that international? KFC, if is that international? When you start looking at your skill sets and you start looking at the play of what everybody else is doing, you could take your skill sets and you could go international with your skill sets. Another thing, pick up a language. I'm horrible. I should have finished off my Japanese. I should have went ahead and went to Japan. And I took Japanese for 4 years. I should have finished it off. But again, if you don't plan on going international, that's fine. You can still use your international skills here in the United States. But didn't I just show you last week where India was going into Mexico? Or was that Monday? Might have been Monday. Might have been last week. Where India is going into Mexico, I've been telling you, they already been in Detroit. But now you're starting to see how these things manifest. Now, Michigan matters. Growing ties between Michigan and China. They've already had those ties. They've had those ties since 2014. This ain't new. 2017, they fished all out of the water. And then we see, oh, China is in Africa. Now we have India. China, India. India is now in Mexico. India's putting their stuff in where you got to look and say, okay, well, who are the leaders of these particular companies and why they going in those places? What's going on? What's going on with manufacturing? What's going on with food resources? What's happening? What's happening? Right? All right. So Peter Vest says China perfected what the IMF with the West did to third world countries. Intentional millionaire, what is going on? China has one unified mission to take over whenever they see an opportunity. And listen, and they're gonna take over whenever they see an opportunity. They're gonna They're gonna have that education. They're gonna listen. I don't know if y'all ever sat in a room with other people, other cultures, and look at how they transfer information. I'm gonna show you how they transfer information. I'm gonna show you. What did he say? What did he say? Okay, 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 okay. Oh, he said this, and they pass it on. And you don't ever see them sitting by themselves. It's always a group. When we go to conferences, we might be sitting by ourselves and we don't even talk to each other. But that's neither here nor there, right? That's neither here nor there. All right, let's get back to it. 401k. Drop a one and get the lights up. Let me look at my lights again. Because I know my lights didn't look like that. I just know my lights didn't look like that. 34 people have liked the show, and it's over 60 people in here. That's a shame. But that's okay. China and India got you. China and India got you. Get the lights up. All right. So I'm bringing all this to you again. Tech, stocks, and jobs. Where are the jobs? What are going on with the stocks? What's going on in tech? Right? Tech, stocks, and jobs. There's a reason for this show. And the reason is to show you you're in a global fight. We already know that it's 100,000 people that are about to be unemployed, right? We already know that, right? Y'all know that, right? You know that? Right? Over 100,000 workers were laid off from tech jobs, and that was in as of December 21st of 2023. And I was looking at a couple of videos this morning, and it was some of the girls they were talking about they were being laid off. Listen, I keep trying to get y'all to understand, be technical, be in tech, go government if you got to or if you can, but understand the game. Everybody's like, what about GovTech? Well, there's state, there's federal, and there's city, right? There's contracts, government contracting, there's federal, city, and state. And then there's consulting, federal, city, and state. Which side of the map do you want to be on? What side of the map do you want to be on? Right? Now, when it comes down to the layoffs and it comes down to what we're looking at for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I'm gonna say this to the day I die. I'm an infrastructure girl. You can't go wrong with it. Everybody needs a server, everybody needs networks, everybody has an operating system on the server, everybody has storage, and that's what's consisted of in the data centers. Somebody got to put something together and somebody got to secure it. And just like Kelsey said the other night when we were on our meetup, he was saying data goes in and data goes out. Now, what happens in this middle? How does it how does it travel? Where does it go? Where does it get stored? How secure is it? Three things about security and data: data in use, data in motion, and data. I would like to say data at rest, but I also like to say data being in computational data, like data being computed over, right? Data in motion, data in use, data at rest, and I like to say data computation, right? So when I talk about that, is the confidential computing consortium, and what that does is, if you ever spun up a instance on Google, um, or even and on AWS, they'll say, "Do you want to turn on confidential computing?" Meaning, if I gotta crunch some type of numbers or something with the data, I can securely crunch those numbers, right? So when I want to, it's called the T, that's what it is. But anyway, when I want to crunch that data, I want to securely crunch that data. So data in motion, data in use, data at rest, and data while computing. Now, with that said, is how does the data get there? Who's inputting that data? What type of data is it? Structured or unstructured, right? And then how clean is that data? Now, if you know, like I know, data got to be stored somewhere, so there's storage. If you know, like I know, somebody got to analyze that data, or something has to analyze that data. And take it one step further, it's got to be secure. And where does that go? So you all got to look at these skill sets when you are looking across the landscape. Can I utilize my skill sets in Africa, Belgium? Can I utilize my skill sets in China, Australia? Do can I utilize my skill sets there? Does China do all these countries have data centers? Let's ask that. And if you are a cloud engineer, if you worked with anything in the cloud, you know they have data centers. AWS, Azure, GCP got data centers all across the United States and all across the world. You know that. So who's working in those data centers? Who's monitoring those data centers? Can I utilize my skills here? And can I utilize my skills there? Right? And close this out right here. All right. Pulling up my stuff. Yeah, Belgium has a Google data center. That's why it just be cracking me up. Like, man, stuff is there. We got stuff everywhere. Let's keep on the latest and greatest in tech. Let's talk about it. Y'all ready? All right, let go. Who you think did this? Nvidia is selling $10 billion in GPUs to an AI tech giant, and it ain't Microsoft. Quantum computing is huge too. Nvidia is selling $10 billion in GPUs, selling 10 billion in GPUs to this AI tech giant, and it's not Microsoft. Let's go. All right. Nvidia stock price has more than quadrupled over the past 3 years. If you're not in NVDA, you need to get in NVDA. Just ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave. Ride the wave, baby. Nvidia, ride the wave. All right. NVDA. All right. So most of the rally has been driven by the rapid expansion of artificial intelligence market, where its data center GPUs are used across the complex AI tasks. Now, with that being said, we got to go back and retrofit our data centers because some of the data centers don't have GPUs and some of the servers just don't have GPUs. So we got to go back and retrofit those. Here we go, right here. Two of the better known customers are OpenAI, the creator of Chat GPT, and its top and its backer, Microsoft. However, Meta, shout out to Jerome, has also been spending billions of dollars on Nvidia's data center GPUs every year. Every year. So when you look at, like, I'm telling you, I listen, there's a data center REIT out there. Data center REIT. Talked about it last year. I don't think people paid attention to what I was talking about right here. Data center REIT's physical epicenter of AI. Among the top performing sectors this year, data center REITs. If you don't want to invest in real estate by traditional going by, you could do it with REITs, right? There's a data center REIT out there, even before the report, right? You all can invest in data center REITs. So data center REITs rebound has been fueled by reports on booming demand for artificial intelligence focused on data center chips. Even before NVIDIA report, the data center REITs were on the upswing in early 2023 after an impressive slate. Just go look at a data center REIT, put it on your watch list and see what happens, right? Just put it on your watch list and see what happens. But I bet you're gonna see an upswing if the headline is reading Nvidia is selling 10 billion in GPUs to this AI tech giant. I'm following the money, right? I'm following the money. All right, so this is why it wasn't all surprising when Meta CEO recently said his company would install 350,000 of NVIDIA's top tier H100 GPUs in this data center by the end of 2024. By the end of 2024. Zuckerberg didn't disclose how many H100 Meta purchased so far, but Nvidia only launched the GPU limited supply in 2022. I remember when that launched. Nvidia is currently selling H100s for $25,000 to $30,000. Who else is going to need these H100s? You want me to tell you? Finance companies and insurance. Finance companies and insurance. Who holds data? Who's doing Monte Carlos and crunching numbers? All right. It said, and this is an analyst from Raymond James. And if you know Raymond James, you should know about Raymond James. If you don't know, now you know. Go look them up. Which implies that Meta will probably spend roughly 8.8 billion to 10.5 billion on Nvidia's GPUs over the next 2-year period. Let's see why that's a bright green flag for Nvidia and what it tells us about Meta's near-term challenges. While Meta support is great news, Nvidia generated 29.1 billion in revenue, or 75% of its top of the line from its data center chips in the first 9 months of 2024, fiscal 2024, which started last January. That's up 52% from its total revenue in the first 9 months of the fiscal 2023 year. Right? Data science and accounting, forensic accounting, finance, insurance. You know who y'all all be sleeping on. I said time and time again. I'm gonna tell you who y'all sleep on. Mass Mutual, MetLife, the list goes on. New York Life. You sleep on them. They be over there like do 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 do. You know who I've been seeing it doing a mass hiring? CVS Health. CVS is doing a mass hiring. AIG, Liberty, all of them, right? Sleeping on them. Don't sleep on them companies. Right? $10 billion. Now somebody asked in the comments, NB, you asked about what are some REITs that are data center REITs. It's some on that list, but I'm gonna show you how to fish. So here we go right here. Here's a list right here. It's a list on here, and it's a list right here. Two data center REITs right here to consider for 2024. Let's hop down here. No. All right, let's go through here. According to IDC, blah, 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 blah. Another benefit of data center REITs, blah, 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 blah. Interest rates. Two data center REITs to consider are digital realty and Equinix. So ticker symbol DLR and ticker symbol EQIX. So let's play the game. Let's go to Google Finance. Let's see what performance have we seen so far. EQIX. EQIX. Right here. 810. What's the max on this? We've been on an upswing here. Up 93%. For the year. This is what it's been looking like for the year. For 5 years. This is what you see over 5 years. You see a run. And this is what it looks like on the max. We got a nice little upswing. We got a little dip right there. And then it shot off. And it's probably going to continue to take off. The next one they had is DLR. Ticker symbol DLR. All right, let's go look at their max. Nice little upswing there. They're up 1,093%. They're up 1,093%. Over a year time, this is what it looks like. Over a year time, up 28% for 1 year. Over 5 years, up 31%. In this total history, it's up 1,000%. So I guess if you held it for 5 years, even though it may not predict the next coming outcome, but a chance that it will be at 31%. I don't see the need to retrofit data centers slowing down. I don't see the need to retrofit data centers slowing down. So the ticker symbols are DLR and EQIX. You can come back to this Seeking Alpha page here, and they have more REITs on here, right here. So EQIX, DLR, IRM, DRBG, and CYXT. These are all data center REITs. Iron Mountain. That's what Peter Investor mentioned before. You know what? I think Kathy Wood is playing a game when it comes to Nvidia. I don't know what her stuff is predicting. Right? I don't know why people are so skeptical about IONQ. I don't have my phone over here, but let's go look at it. I'm in IONQ. I'm in IONQ. Let's look at them. They ain't been around 5. So they had a big burst here. They had a big run here, and then they kind of slowed down. They're down 0.091% for the year. For 1 year, they're down. Year to date, down. I mean, they barely down, but I mean it's $11. And for those that don't know what IONQ is, here's IONQ. They're a quantum computing company. Now, let's say this. Let's look at APPL. And let's go look at the max over time. and how much they were back in this area right here. Back in 2004, they was 69 cents. People have you got to play a long game. It's $11. So you could ride that out that $11 stock out, put $100 on it, and set it and forget it, and just let it do its thing. Or you could buy 100 shares of it and set it, forget it, and let it do its thing. Who knew back in 2000 when Apple in 98, who knew Apple at 40 cents was going to be what it is now? That's the stock market. It's a gamble. Companies are a gamble. No one knew that Apple was going to be what Apple is now. You ain't know that, you know? So it's a gamble. Why caused the change? What caused the change in 2013 for Apple? Let's go. See, during the keynote event on opening day, new hardware announcements is second generation of the Mac Pro Airport Time Capsule. I remember that. Airport Extreme and the MacBook Air. New software announcements for Mavericks. And I work for iCloud and new music streaming, iTunes Radio. Apple Day was always a big day during that time. Everybody's like, "Oh, did you watch the keynote? We'll see what's new and innovative for Apple." They did horrible on the maps. They had to take that out. They had to remove that. That was horrible. That was horrible. All right, have y'all been following along with this? Let's go. Trying to get these down. JP Morgan Chase. Come on. Got it. JP Morgan Chase or JP Morgan issue surprise Bitcoin ETF prediction after a sudden price surge. Have y'all been keeping up with the Bitcoin ETF? Y'all got it on your watch list or you invested? Drop in the chat. Let me know. Let me know what y'all doing with this Bitcoin ETF. Speaking of also of Google, international news here. Google's effort to shrink I found this one funny. Google's effort to shrink its workforce in Korea hit a snag as the employees are refusing to go. International news. Oh, you gonna lay us off? I don't think so. I don't think so. We gonna be here. We just gonna be working. I don't think so. Google has about 800 full-time employees in South Korea, but wants to reduce its workforce. Some workers are resisting the company's suggestions to leave. Local labor laws don't allow employers with 5 or more workers to dismiss them without just cause, baby. Without just cause. We refuse to go. What you trying to do? No, you gonna have to give me a reason because I ain't going, and you gonna have to suck it up, buttercup. Right? International news, Korea. All right. Google wants to reduce its headcount, but some workers in South Korea are refusing to leave. The tech giant has about 800 workers in South Korea. Despite trying to shrink its workforce since last year, some employees are declining the company's recommendation to resign. As South Korea Jong Ang Daily reported about 10 Google employees from its office in Seoul had accepted the company's suggestion to resign, the outlet reported. But according to Korean labor law, I guess Nam, the law doesn't allow employers with 5 or more workers to dismiss without just cause. So it said the recommendation resignation occurs when an employee resigns at an employer's suggestion. In most cases, the employees will refuse to resign and do not wish to face uncertainty and difficulty of finding new employment. About 100 Google workers in Korea formed a union last year because of the mounting concerns over the industry-wide layoffs. With the ongoing job cuts across the U.S. tech sector, employees have been concerned about job security and decided to establish a union. He told the newspaper basically that the union planned to secure an agreement with Google to ensure security and pursue voluntary resignations. Voluntary resignation means a worker can sometimes get an early retirement bonus. Right? Google laid off 12,000 employees in earlier 2023, about 6% of its head count, and axed a thousand workers later on that month. But the people in Korea said, we ain't doing that. I ain't signing that letter. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. It says facts that paycheck must still hit my account unless you you give me the reason. Korea employees, yeah, they gangster. They was like, you in the United States, y'all go for anything, but we ain't going for that. You say it's the same thing in the UKT. Peter Investor, you said so. If the stock price of Nvidia is up due to increasing in production of GPUs for data centers, therefore mineral stock prices are up. Hint: what GPU is made from? Yeah, so you got to look at what GPU is made from and where are they pulling that from? Where are they pulling that from? And then two, while you talking about that, um, I mean, I pulled it because they were talking about manufacturing here in the United States, and they were talking about what metals and so forth. And I thought I pulled that. I thought I pulled that. I guess I didn't. I guess I did. All right, I got 3 more articles and then we out of here. 3 more and we're out of here. I wanted to give y'all this one because I'm a lady of the leisure. All right, so listen, there's a new service out there um that wants you to fly private, and it's starting at $111 on a private plane. I thought this would be interesting. I'll be keeping y'all up on travel as well too, internationally, right? Ever dream of being whisked away on a sunny island getaway of the bustling business meeting aboard a private plane without costing a fortune? The new reality is Connect Air is possible. With prices as low as $111. Let me get that over there. Close. Here, private charters with the convenience where it meets luxury packages. I don't want a package. I just want to fly. I guess I got to put together a package. I just want to see where they go to. You choose a destination. Hundreds of airports across the United States and Canada. Select the aircraft. Book your flight. Enjoy your flight. And they got an app too. Booking on demand. Per hour pricing and time saving. Remote access if you need it. And here is their Uber style private plane trips are here, and flights cost $111 from $111. It made it to CNN. All right. So on the website, which was founded in 2019 for private air travel to in the Pac Northwest, you can really book a regular on-demand flight. But from December 2023, you can now snap up a private aircraft bargain by booking an empty leg repositioning flight all over the U.S. That's what it was talking about on the thing on the website. It said empty leg. Right. So I guess somebody canceled their flight. You can hop on it. That's what the plane looked like. The site uses AI-backed software to trawl through private airplane operators. We're letting software do the sifting through the haystack to make it accessible for anyone. Oh, somebody told me about this that you can fly private. Um, so say somebody was on gonna be on a private flight and they cancel, they'll have it available for you to hop on that flight and fly private. We're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna download it and see what it says. Spirit Air private service is $153. I don't know. What was the plane that just had the boats missing and the customer found it? Who was that? Boats missing on the plane? Who was that? Yeah, flights was canceled before takeoff. Notice missing. No, the boats was missing on the wing of the plane. Airbus A330 operated by Virgin Atlantic was set to fly from Manchester, England to JFK, and they found that the boats was missing on the plane, on the wing of the plane. Yeah, ain't no way in the world. The boats just sitting up there, just gone. Nah, and they got a video of it. I ain't gonna play the sound. We can look at it. See, right there. Yeah, just just boats just gone. Y'all don't need them. Y'all don't need them. You don't need them. Bolts. No. Dion, I'm from the South, okay? Bolts and boats. Bolts and boats. Okay? I'm from the South. Okay? D was like, oh, I thought you said boats. What boats is missing from the plane, Dion? What boats is missing from you know what, D? You need to go to bed. You need to go to bed. Go to bed. I ain't said nothing about no boats. No boats missing from the boat. The boats missing. Boats, Dion. Boats. It's a southern thing. Boats, Dion. She's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about, Dion. Oh, here it is right here. I knew I had it. Right here. Biden set to announce billions in chip subsidies for Intel, Taiwan Semi, and others. Billions. Follow the money. We still everything I'm telling you about is all tied back to the infrastructure. If the infrastructure of the company, if the data center ain't working right, if we can't get to the website, if we can't use the app, if we can't scale, all right. No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. You know what? Let me log in because I got an account. Because that's what I do. Oh, that's that one. Let's do this. All right, we back in the game. Okay, so I don't know. I've been keeping up with this explore investing insights on the Red Sea crisis. I've been keeping up with the Red Sea stuff. There's been some action going over there. I gotta do a little bit more research on it, right? All right, the Biden administration is expected to award billions of dollars in subsidies to Intel, INTC, ticker symbol INTC, and other semiconductor firms in the coming weeks. The subsidies are part of the $53 billion CHIPS Act are expected to be announced before Biden's State of the Union speech on March 7th, right? Which is on, it says report on Saturday. Blah, 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 blah. Micron, ticker symbol MU, Texas Instrument, they've been around forever. TXN, Global Foundries, GFS, are likely to be awarded subsidies, industry executives told WSJ, Wall Street Journal. In August, 1 year after the U.S. Chips Act was signed in law, the White House touted its achievements, including that more than 460 companies have submitted statements of interest to receiving funding. The nearly $53 billion legislation, which provides tax credits and domestic semiconductor manufacturers, is aimed at boosting America's share of the global semiconductor, which goes back into what I talked about. Keep up and where the money go is going. The 31 tech cities that are being created, right? That came out, right? The tech hub, right? Keep up where that money is going, where the tech hubs are at. What are the 31 cities, right? What are the 31 cities? We got the manufacturing investments, including 230 billion in semiconductor manufacturing, 140 billion in electric vehicle and battery manufacturing, 20 billion in bio manufacturing, all of which are represented by tech hubs announced today. Right? Tulsa, we got Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Montana, Colorado for quantum, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin for quantum, Illinois, Indiana for quantum, Wisconsin, medical, advanced pharmaceutical manufacturing, Tech Hub, Virginia, New Hampshire, Illinois, which is all bio, Missouri, Kansas, I guess Indiana, I guess PRB, Puerto Rico, Wisconsin for bio, right? Accelerating clean energy, right? Louisiana. Georgia is SC Nexus for advanced resilient energy. South Carolina and Georgia, right? Florida, South Florida for South Florida Climate Resilience Tech Hub. New York, Battery Tech Hub. Then we got into critical mineral supply chain. Here's go critical minerals. Missouri, Nevada. Then we got semiconductor manufacturing, right? And then um see billions going into Augusta. City leaders consider the city's budget of 1.15 billion. Augusta adds nearly $3 billion and 21,000 jobs into its area. For Augusta is to spend $4.3 billion creating fake trees. Again, just a food for thought right here, because I just thought this was just an interesting thing to click on. Let me show you what I just saw, because I thought it was just interesting here. This one right here. Whenever y'all think about the masters, just off topic here. So in time, it took for you to read here. Augusta National made another 16,000 The club makes $1 million every hour, $10 million every day, and $70 million average that out for that 70 million average that's out for an entire year. And we're talking about 3.5 billion. That's $1 billion more than J. Crew. That's how much this Augusta National makes. You want to know where the money resides? You don't think people are snapping up stuff in Augusta, right? So I'm just following the money, the patterns, where they're at, how you can make stuff. Listen, Augusta Cyber Security Center. Augusta is a cybersecurity training hub, right? Augusta, right? The Georgia Cyber Center. You all want to know? Y'all live in Georgia. Y'all want to know what's going on in Georgia, cyber wise? Go check out the Georgia Cyber Center, the Georgia Cyber Workforce Academy, Georgia Cyber Workforce Academy. All right, take it even one step further. Right, we got the Georgia Cyber Workforce Academy and Augusta Tech Hub jobs. And then let's filter this and let's put this in the past month. All right. Now let's look and see what's coming up. Right. Just a quick search here. So there's something came out here 4 days ago from Biden Harris. There, we'll look at that. Right. And then I'm just looking at jobs. Just want to see what kind of jobs that you're seeing that's coming out. Just a quick search. The fact sheet administration highlights new toward equitable workforce development and in manufacturing. Let's look on here. Let's go Augusta. All right, so here we go. Would develop and disseminate a moratorium of understanding template to help local school districts, community colleges, and unions form partnerships to build students' awareness of good union careers. Excuse me, building on similar MOUs in Augusta Workforce Hub. This template may include language for developing training partnerships such as apprenticeship programs, registered apprenticeships program, engaging educational professionals such as schools, counselors, career and technical education instructors, reaching underrepresented groups. Local areas can adopt the template for their needs in construction trades, advanced manufacturing, and other sectors. This was announced in 5 cities across the country that are seeing significant public and private investment and so forth. And they got it in Columbus, Pittsburgh, Augusta, Phoenix, Arizona, and then 17 Manufacturing USA Institute. So y'all talking about apprentice programs. We're also talking about some free training. We're also talking about, again, what can I do that's gonna lead me and have me some skills for the next 10 years, not the next two. We want the next 10. All right. I'm gonna read the comments and we're gonna get out of here. I'm willing to relocate for money. I'm looking for a new job now. Was you looking for a new job in? What's your skill sets? Take your skill sets, rank them from 1 to 5. One being the greatest or 5 being the greatest, however you want to. Once you do that, then you need to make a summary of your skills. What impact did you have? And then take that and throw that into Chat GPT. Let Chat GPT make you a resume or use AI to make your resume. Do a comparison of where you want to go, what's your trajectory, and then go from there. Just a quick one. Augusta is where the Army Signals Corps are trained. Yep. I used to live near Augusta Golf, and it was difficult or impossible to get a tea time. Correct. Augusta check government jobs and manufacturer jobs. Yep. Chips, AI, and more. Yep. I live an hour away from Augusta and didn't know it. What, you didn't know all this was going on? You know why you didn't know this was going on? Because you didn't hit like and subscribe, and you didn't hit the notification bell of Women in Linux. You would have known about this. If you just discovered us, I've been talking about it now for 2 years. It's okay. You're here now. You're safe. I keep you informed. Filthy Frank Black said saw an advertisement on the bus that a company was hiring an aluminum, I guess, extruder operator or extractor operator. I'm not sure if that's right. I said it wrong. Also check Aiken, South Carolina, stone way from Augusta. Yep. Look, stay as technical as possible. Let your tech skills get you into other rooms where other people are not. Is you're gonna often be in rooms where people don't even look like you. Okay. And at the end of the day, don't ever let nobody just tell you no and you stop. Keep going. That's my word. That's my word of the day. Right. I thank y'all for joining. We hit our 2 hour mark. Go get your cod liver oil for your worms. See y'all later.